Good afternoon. I was going to record this video as a very vague vlog that you would see in a couple of weeks, but I don't think actually this can wait. At the Geneva Motor Show a few days ago, the first model that actually succeeds at another one in the current MG range has been launched. I don't think since 2011 that MG directly replaced one model with another of the same name, but since the MG3 came out in 2013 in this country, it was released in some other countries before that, it's actually now ending production, and the new MG3 Hybrid Plus was launched at the Geneva Motor Show a couple of days ago. So I thought, rather than waiting some considerable time for it, I might as well tell you about it now. The unfortunate thing is I don't have an MG3 at the moment to drive, an older model one. We used to own one actually at the time that the channel started, and that was the second car ever to appear on the channel. Was a 2014 MG3 style that we actually had at the time. So I'm very familiar with MG3s. I've driven several pre-facelift ones like the one we had, and also a couple of post-facelift ones. In fact, the latest one I drove was in 2021, when I was very blessed to be offered one to use for a week by MG Motor UK. Now, I thought in 2021, and actually the videos I made that week talking about the car, but that car was imminent for replacement and it would be replaced in about 2022. But that's not been the case. The car has literally just been replaced now, which is strange really, because 11 years is a really, really long time to keep a single model on the market. That's your Fiat, of course, in which case the 500's been on sale for 17 years, which is utterly insane to me, but that's just the way that it is. But it's a completely new car. I'm not quite sure if there are some engine components that might be shared with the outgoing model. Ideally I would have been at Geneva myself and taken footage of the car, but I have found some press images that I will share, which I'll free to distribute. Some of the media companies get it funny if you just steal their photographs, so we use the MG press release ones, which are okay to be used. But we'll tell you a bit more about it now before actually I'm able to get my hands on one. I'm hoping at some point later this year that I'll do a walk around of one and then possibly even drive one of these new model. But in the meantime, here is some images, and I'll talk a bit more about it in a moment.
Dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you haven't got it right, you're one of us. Do you know and do you know that you are known? Do you know and do you know that you are known? It's important for you to realise that you are not gonna notice.
So, like the previous MG3 since 2018, when the facelift model came out, this one has a 7-year, 80,000 mile warranty. It's also got a 1.5 litre engine. It's billed as an Atkinson cycle engine, and apparently it's 1.5 litres of capacity and has 101 brake horsepower, but it's also hooked up to 134 brake horsepower electric motor, because it's actually a normal hybrid. It's not a plug-in hybrid, it's not a mild hybrid, it's a normal hybrid. So it's things like the Toyota Yaris at the moment and the new Renault Clio that's just been launched, the facelift one with the e-hybrid powertrain, are the main rivals of this car. The selling price of it is supposedly between £18,000 and £20,000. I read the press release that they released on the 26th, which is about 3 days ago, and I can't find actually surprisingly there, but I've seen some other articles and they say it's going to be between £18,000 and £20,000. However, the car is also rumoured to be getting some standard engines a bit later, which will drop the price considerably. So £18,000 to £20,000 is an awful lot when the current MG3, when it came out in 2013, started at £8,399 and rose to, I think, £9,999. So obviously we've gone up since then, but actually the current model at the moment, it starts at around £14,000. So it is not as much of an increase as the early MG3s were when they came out, but it is still quite a lot for a car that actually occupies quite a sort of small sort of niche really these days, because the only powertrain option in the current one has always been a 105 brake horsepower 1.5 engine and a 5-speed manual. Some markets got a 4-speed automatic, and weirdly this new Hybrid Plus MG3 has a 3-speed automatic. Apparently it works better than the CVT gearboxes that are normally used for hybrid powertrains, according to MG Motor UK. I don't know whether that actually is the case. That's just what the press release says. So I suppose we'll have to see if that's really the case. The car is technologically much more advanced. It's got 2 big screens in it. The previous car only had a little 7-inch screen, and that was only on most of the higher trims. There was an Explore model available for some time on the facelifted MG3s that didn't have a screen at all in it. It was just a tiny little sort of almost like a single DIN radio in it. Fortunately these days, you know, all MG3s do get a version of a touchscreen, but that touchscreen didn't even have Android Auto in it. Apparently this new car has got 2 rather large ones. I think it's a 7-inch one in front of the driver and a 10.25-inch one in the centre. So on both models, the SE and the Trophy, only 2 trim levels will get that screen. It just looks a lot more modern, as you'd expect from a design that dates back to the early 2010s, and a lot more plush. I don't know whether I actually like the styling of the car or not. I mean, you can make up your mind from those press images that you've seen, whether you like the interior or the exterior of it. I'm a little bit sort of disappointed to see that they've actually dropped the what's called the Hello Yellow colour, which a lot of the current MG3s have been available in. I think that's actually quite a good colour for a little sort of car like that. The boot has grown slightly by 7 litres, I think 293 litres it is now, but the whole car has grown in dimension. They're not bad. They're actually, for their size, quite a spacious car. Certainly when the car was new and the Mark 7 Fiesta reigned supreme, it is a bit bigger inside than one of those. And actually it was a lot cheaper than one of those. And when the car was first on sale, a lot of people said, well, it's a city car. It isn't really. It was about the same size as the Mark 7 Fiesta. It's just it competed in the city car class because the price was so low. These days £14,000 is about the minimum you'd be able to spending on a car in this country. So it will obviously lose appeal for a loyal band of buyers who actually, some probably have bought 2 or 3 MG3s in a row if they liked them. One thing about that car, having owned one from 2016-2020, that I remember is the handling, steering being really, really good. A lot of contemporary journalists who have driven the current MG3 have said that, you know, the steering is not very good and the handling is not very good. I just don't agree with that really. Thought the handling was excellent. Obviously the hydraulic power steering, which I think probably will make the current one the last car to ever have hydraulic power steering in a mainstream model in this country, that will probably go now with this new Hybrid Plus model. But I have had a rumour that there is a more basic one coming, possibly with this 1.5 litre engine. I'm still not entirely sure whether it's the same 1.5 litre or not. They're saying it's an Atkinson cycle engine, whatever that means. I'm not can't quite remember what that means, but I don't think the current one is. So many people throughout the life of the old MG3 were saying it needs a better engine, and I was one of those people. I'm trying to start in 2018. I just said, it needs a 1 litre turbo from the MG3. We're still in the MG3, we still get that, which is an old sort of General Motors unit. It's not a bad unit, it's just a lot better than the 1.5 non-turbo that's currently in the car. And they never did anything about it. They just presumably to keep the price down, because the MG3 is always sold on price, because it can't anymore. They kept that engine in it, and they sort of went through various slight tweaks to get it through emissions regulations. But it fundamentally has remained the same since 2013. So, combined output for the engine and the hybrid system is 192 horsepower, which means 0 to 62 in 8 seconds, which makes it not only cheaper than the Toyota Yaris, Mazda 2 hybrid and Renault Clio E hybrid, but it also means it's faster than 0 to 60. So actually performance should be really good, much better than the last car. 0 to 60 timing out was about 10.4 seconds actually. So yes, better equipment. Whether it's better looking, that's really up to you. I don't know what I think about it really. Faster, fuel economy as well. Apparently it's 64 miles per gallon, which is utterly insane considering that I struggled in R1 to get 45. It just wasn't that economical a car, because of course it was an old style 1.5 4-cylinder without a turbo, without stop-start system on the early cars, and it's not that efficient. But I just wonder, is this car going to be fun to drive? Is it going to be something that you can get enthusiastic about? Certainly for a young enthusiast, MG3s were actually quite a good thing in many ways, because they had quite cheap insurance back in the day. They were Group 4 insurance. With the facelift ones, that changed a bit for a reason I don't really understand. Will this new Hybrid Plus, or possibly the ones that are coming in lower down the rank without this full hybrid technology, be a bit cheaper to insure and just generally a little bit cheaper to buy? Hopefully there will be some of them coming, but I'm actually quite excited about this. It's the first sort of, entire model range that's been replaced. So there's been facelifts of the MG5 and the HS and ZS, but this is the first time they've replaced a car in MG Motor UK Centennial, which is 2011, and they've kept the same model designation rather than going from the GS to the HS that they did in 2019. So something kind of new for them, and there's new models coming as well. There's I think a new electric city car coming at some stage. There's the Cyberster, of course, the Roadster that's going to be launched later this year. So I think it's quite an exciting time for MG Motor UK. I don't necessarily think that they are a problem-free brand. I've heard of problems with the cars, but problems with some of the dealers. Some dealers are great. I love Summit Garage in Dudley, who have actually supplied a lot of MGs for filming on channel. I'm very grateful to them for all that, and hopefully they might actually supply one for us to have a look at when the cars actually get released to dealerships later this year. So I think that's about it really. Hopefully that is just whetting your appetite. Sorry it's not kind of sort of more comprehensive video. I haven't seen any press footage that I can actually take just so photographs now. So what do you think of the look of this new MG3 Hybrid Plus? Is this something that you're excited about, or do you think they should have just discontinued it altogether? Thank you very much indeed once again for watching, and don't forget to like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again soon, hopefully later this year, when we're actually going to look at this thing in person.